Alright, welcome back to episode 3 of Nuggets on the Go. We're going to talk about new launches for 2023. Let's go. This year, there are approximately about 40 plus new launches that are estimated to be launched for the entire year. So what happened was that in the last 2 years, there was a slew of en-bloc activities as well as government land sales. And just for the first half of this year, there are also going to be more government land sales because our government has just released the latest news in order to satisfy the demand from developers to bid for more land. Let's kickstart today's episode to talk about the 3 different types of choices that you will have as a condo buyer that is looking for a condominium in the market. So typically, you're going to have 3 different types of products. So the very first product that you have is this one right in the middle. Of course, that will be the resale properties in the entire market. And the second type will be the newly completed properties. And this year by itself, there will be a rough estimate of about 26 condos that might TOP this year. And what this means is that properties that are going to TOP in 2023, very likely these owners have bought them about 3 to 4 years back, starting from 2019, 2020. Some owners that have bought them maybe just last year or 2021 because they have bought the balance units, they will definitely not put them in the market to sell because they need to fulfill a minimum of 3 years seller stamp duty period. So if you were to see some of these properties that will be for sale in the resale market once the first-hand owners got their keys on, these are properties that likely belongs to owners that have bought first-hand during the first show flat season. Typically, what is going to happen is that if you're attracted to newly TOP properties, you probably fall into the spectrum of home buyers that love to buy this kind of brand new properties that nobody has stayed in before. They still come with a 1-year defect warranty period. And of course, that's one of the plus points. You don't have to wait for the construction period like the first-time owners do in the past. You can have immediate gratification of newly TOP projects. Of course, the downside is that definitely you have to pay a premium because no owners will resell their property at the same price that they bought in the past from the developer. So they will definitely want to sell at a slightly higher PSF. Maybe it will be a $200-300 PSF in order for them to make sense to cover their waiting period, to cover their bank interest, to cover their buyer stamp duty. So this is the pros and cons of course, going into a newly TOP project. The third one, of course, will be to go into new launches. So this year, you're going to have probably about 40 plus different new launches for you to choose from. And today, we want to talk about some key metrics that you want to understand a little bit because this year, you're going to have all these different choices. And in specification, we want to talk about the new launches for this year. In fact, in the last episode, we came out with these 2 charts courtesy of HProp, and they, of course, tabulated the upcoming new launches for this year in 2023. And I also showcased you this chart before to talk about the movement that new launches seems to have with an estimated movement upwards in terms of benchmark pricing of $400 every 5 years. So if you want to understand more about this chart, click on the episode number 2 of Nuggets on the Go for 2023 season 3, and that will give you a nice understanding of what this chart is about. But for today's context, we want to look at this new chart that our research team has came up with. So what we have done is that we did an estimated supply based on the project launch date of properties that are currently being launched at the moment, plus another about 4 years. And of course, what we want to understand is that we want to see if there's an upcoming oversupply situation in the condo market. So what we've deduced is that the number of units that are going to be launched this year, next year, and in the next 2 years has been tabulated into this chart, and that can give us a nice backdrop of whether there will be an upcoming oversupply. And based on this, it seems that the supply is very well managed by our government, which is a good thing for existing homeowners because our government needs to calibrate the introduction of GRS land very carefully in order to let the condo market be in a glut situation. If our condo market were to be in a glut situation, it will not be healthy for the existing homeowners. There will be also a lot of oversupply in the market. There will be a potential drawback if there's an oversupply more than demand. So this has to be calibrated very carefully, and that is one of the core reasons why GRS is always being introduced on a phase-by-phase basis. And to recap, the previous chart that we had was to understand, in terms of the existing homeowners, how many people are holding on to the properties right now in Singapore. In Singapore, there's about 340,000 condos and apartments, and out of which about 70,000 are being owned by foreigners and PR. So there are about 260,000 being owned by Singaporeans, and the psychology is that foreigners and PRs, because they have paid ABSD, most of them are having the mindset to hold on to their properties, especially if the investor from the foreign country have very high holding power. What they technically will do is that they will just continue to rent their property, hold on to their property as a store of wealth and a store of value. They will not sell their property easily because they have to buy back at the latest ABSD of 30%. This will then allow us to understand that in terms of holding power is a little bit different from what is happening in other global cities, because in Singapore, the amount of quantity of private properties that opens up to the international market is basically this amount. If I were to show you this chart, you will then further understand what we call by the international demand. So international demand, basically in terms of the types of properties in the market, is that if you were to talk about all the types of residential properties that's available in Singapore, technically speaking, about 1.2 million properties belongs to the HDB category where only Singaporeans can buy. Of course, PRs can buy if they're married with PR status for at least 3 years. Landed property only belongs to Singaporeans unless we're talking about Sentosa landed properties. And then that leaves us with this center spectrum of only about 340,000 properties available for international demand. And if 70,000 are already owned by foreigners and PR, which they don't have much movement technically, we only can depend on the movement within that 260,000 that is being held on by Singaporeans currently, of course, new launches. That will bring us to this new chart that our research team has formulated. Is that if you were to look at this shows us clearly the percentage of ownership of the number of non-landed private units owned by Singaporeans, PR, and foreign investors. And of course, right now, about 20% of the non-landed housing stock are being owned by foreigners and PR owners, and about 80% are being owned by Singaporeans themselves. And that will give us a nice backdrop of the current holding power and status of the housing stock right now in Singapore. And for episode number 3, there's going to be a freebie for our audiences. And if you're keen to look at and get your hands on this latest chart of the lowest PSF units in OCR, RCR, and CCR, we're going to give out this chart right now on this link below. So you can just click on the link, head on to our landing page. You'll be able to download this chart for free. We have categorized them by new launches, 1 beta, 2 beta, 3 beta, 4 beta in terms of PSF as well as quantum. So there's going to be 2 charts available. One is by PSF, one is by quantum, and this will allow you to sort them based on the color coding, because our research team has very lovingly done it in a way that you can sort by OCR, RCR, and CCR, and then you can actually go by the lowest quantum, 1 beta, 2 beta, 3 beta, and 4 beta. That is going to help you to make a choice to look at the current new launches that's available in the market. We're also going to have this freebie as well. This chart has also been painstakingly tabulated by our team for the 2023 upcoming launches that have sort of been announced in the market. Of course, this is not a full exhaustive list. So what we've also done is with OCR, RCR, and CCR, we've segregated them based on the land price PSF PPR, the estimated break-even price, and of course, the estimated selling price. However, the disclaimer is that the final price will be dependent on the new launch pricing announced by developers. So a lot of the new launch estimated selling prices are not announced yet. This is just for research purposes and just for everybody to have an understanding of roughly what price will be launched, so that you can do your homework in advance to anticipate for the launch when it's going to happen. So if you want to get your hands on all this latest chart, please click on the link right down below. We'll be very happy to have you download them. And of course, you can leave your comments down below on what new content you want to see on the next few episodes. I'll be very happy to research and share them with you. So that will bring us back to this chart. The new launch landscape for 2023 is going to be exciting because firstly, there are going to be choices available. There also seems to be a wide spectrum of choices available in the OCR, CCR, and RCR market. But one latest chart that we have found is that there seems to be a disparity that is happening. And I want to share with you what this chart is about. This is the new sale private non-landed regional disparity price index. We have tabulated from 2020 to 2022 by our PLB Insights and our PLB research team. So if you notice, this disparity starting from 2020 seems to have grown in the sense that there's a widening between OCR and RCR ever since the last quarter of 2022, and there seems to be a kind of narrowing between CCR and RCR in the sense that the transacted new launch pricing between RCR and CCR seems to have closed up pretty fair bit compared to in the past. And the gap between OCR and RCR is bigger than the gap between RCR and CCR. So what this means for you is that if you're hunting for something in the RCR region, you might want to look at the CCR region as well, because since the gap is so close. So in terms of PSF, the CCR might make a little bit more sense if you happen to see something that you like. Now, if you are comparing between OCR and RCR, and let's say you have a preference in the OCR district, then OCR is still safe to enter because there still seems to be a big gap between the OCR and RCR pricing. So to sum this up for you, what this means is that if you are looking at RCR area, do explore the CCR area because the PSF is very close to one another. If you are looking at the OCR area, it is safe to still look at the OCR area because the gap from OCR to RCR is actually quite far apart. So it will still have room to grow for OCR prices to catch up with the RCR price. So for today's episode, basically this is an episode for you to look at the charts, to download some of the freebies, because that two chart that we have just shown you basically is going to help you to understand PSF pricing between the different segments. We have also listed down all the project names at the bottom. It will also help you to hunt based on the quantum pricing. And of course, some of you will love to hunt by quantum pricing because, let's say, example, if you have a budget of $1.5 million, you want to see what's available in the new launch market, you'll be able to see that, okay, for one beta at 1.5 million, you're going to have a selection of maybe about 10 projects. And then of course, if you look at two betas, 1.5 million, basically you can't really get much. You can only go for the OCR region with a few balanced launches. And of course, if you want to go to the CCR region, you at least must have something close to $2 million. So for these 8 charts, I hope that it's going to help you in terms of decision making for new launches in 2023. What we're going to do this year as well for our PRB channel is that we're also going to cover as much new launches as we can. Actually, my instruction to the team is that we want to cover all the new launches reviews for the year 2023, and this is going to be an exciting year ahead for new launch buyers like yourself. If you're hunting for a new product in the market, we look forward to seeing you on episode number 4, because episode number 4 we're going to talk about rental. We have some fresh out of the oven research from our research team to talk about rental versus purchase and whether it makes sense with numbers, tabulation of how many years will be a sweet spot break-even point if you are thinking about waiting on the market compared to buying something. And thank you for staying tuned with us for episode number 3. We hope to see you on the next one. Take care. The spectrum of home, you probably fall into homes. And where's my chart? Sorry,